Special thanks to Chala Challington for recommending this. Feel free to give me other assorted video recommendations. This is one of the worst games I've ever played. I will not sugarcoat it. This game was one of the most unpleasant experiences I've ever had in the world of media. I know it's an early access, but the point of it is to get feedback, and I'm going to give the fuck out of it. So Heartbound is a game following lore. Some hoodie-wearing kid who is a talking dog named Baron. Neither of them are particularly interesting, and lore specifically is really annoying and has a tendency to break down crying for literally no reason. After like 10 minutes, Baron fricks off and lore goes to look for him. Some spooky demon shadow guy randomly appears and you enter into a fight. Now, this is one of the only fun parts of the game. The combat of this game are supposedly going to be based around mini-games, but there are currently only 2 fights. The first, against the aforementioned demon shadow guy, is honestly really fun. It's very timing-based, much like Undertale, but with much more variety. It's honestly super fun and it's pretty challenging, but unfortunately, this is the only fight of that type in the game. There's another boss battle later on, but it's entirely based around selecting the right dialogue options, which are extremely obvious. There are also a few puzzles. They're mostly localized within the prologue of the game, but like the boss, they're pretty fun to solve. They weren't super challenging, but they were fun to figure out. But anyways, onto the story, I guess. The game's story isn't really there. Heartbound has a tendency to introduce plot elements and then not really follow through on them. I know it's an early access, but still, this is quite often. Many of the stranger things in this game never really get explained, and they just sort of occasionally appear, and that's it. There's quite a few side characters, but none of them are all that developed. But maybe they'll get that way in the full game, I don't know. But now onto the main part of the game, the tedium. I don't even really know how to describe most of this game. The majority of it is comprised of either reading pretty poorly written dialogue or walking around excruciatingly slowly. God, I wish there was a run button. Seriously, most of this game is just walking. There are 4 parts of the game so far. The prologue, which is done, the tower, which is done, Animus, which is half done, and Jotunheim, which is only like 2 minutes right now. I'll review them one by one because I need a way to pad out this review. The prologue is probably the best part of the game, which isn't saying much. Most of it is just puzzles and story. Oh, crap, I lost my place in this. Along with one of the 2 boss battles. It's alright. It's a little slow, but nothing like the later parts. The second part, the tower, is probably the worst part, which sucks as the aesthetic and concept is pretty cool. It basically functions like a microcosm of Suits, a business RPG, except if that game wasn't funny and was really boring. You get recruited to a company called Tower Core, and you have to walk around carrying stuff for other workers and generally helping them out. It's excruciatingly boring. Also, as one of the 2 bosses of the game right now. Instead of the fun gameplay of the first one, though, this one's just selecting the right dialogue option 5 or 6 times, and then you win. Fun. The third part, Animus, is also pretty bad. It's not done yet, but what's here isn't very fun. You just walk around and talk to some anthropomorphic animal people, who, as per usual, don't have great dialogue. There's not even any gameplay or puzzles, but I guess it's not finished, so that's probably why. The final area, Jotunheim, is only a 2-minute cutscene before ending, because it's not even close to done. The icy aesthetic is kinda cool, at least. So in conclusion, I didn't really enjoy this game. At all. It felt extremely tedious and the writing wasn't very good. I wouldn't recommend it, especially not for $10, but who knows, once it goes into early access, it might be friggin' incredible. I don't know. And I will say, I do not dislike the creators. I'm sure they're perfectly nice, but their game isn't very fun. So, hopefully it gets improved. Anyways, bye.